Hi, first graders. It's been a while since I've been able to read you a story, and I thought that today would be a perfect day to do that. So the book that I picked to read today is called Goldilocks and the Three Bears. This book is illustrated by Jan Brett, and it's also retold by Jan Brett. And retold just means that the author is telling an old story in a new way. This book is also a folk tale, and just like lots of folk tales, it has animals that act like people, and it also has a moral at the end. So we'll have to think about what that moral or lesson is at the end of the book. So, are we ready to begin? Okay, here we go. Goldilocks and the Three Bears. First picture. This is for Betty, Sally, and Joe, and for Miriam. Once upon a time, there were three bears who lived together in a house of their own in a wood. One of them was a little small wee bear, and one was a middle-sized bear, and the other was a great, huge bear. They each had a bowl for their porridge. A little bowl for the little small wee bear, a middle-sized bowl for the middle-sized bear, and a great huge bowl for the great huge bear. And they each had a chair to sit in, a little chair for the little small wee bear, a middle-sized chair for the middle-sized bear, and a great huge chair for a great huge bear. And they each had a bed to sleep in, a little bed for the little small wee bear, a middle-sized bed for the middle-sized bear, and a great huge bed for a great huge bear. One day, after they had made their porridge for breakfast and poured it into their porridge bowls, they walked out into the woods while their porridge was cooling. First graders, porridge is just like hot cereal. So here are the bears out on their walk. And you know, Jan Brett always includes these really small pictures along the side. Do you see it? Can you see who that is? That's Goldilocks. So here, as you see the bears out for their walk in the large illustration, in the smaller illustration, you can see Goldilocks. See if we can see her on the other side. There she is. And while they were walking, a little girl named Goldilocks came to their house. First, she looked in at the window. Then she peeped in at the keyhole, and seeing no one was home, she lifted the latch. The door opened before her, and in she went. Do you think she should have done that? Let's see what happens. How pleased Goldilocks was when she saw the steaming porridge on the table. The sweet smell of the porridge with roasted nuts, honey, and berries filled the room. It was so tempting that Goldilocks set about helping herself. First, she tasted the porridge of the great huge bear, but it was too hot. Then she tasted the porridge of the middle-sized bear, but it was too cold. And last, she tried the porridge of the little small wee bear, and it was neither too hot nor too cold. It was just right. She liked it so much that she ate it all up. Boys and girls, again, if you look really close on the side, you can see what the bears are doing while she's inside eating up their porridge. They're outside on the walk. There's the mama bear and the papa bear, and there's the baby bear. Then Goldilocks sat down in the chair of the great huge bear, but it was too hard for her. Then she sat down in the chair of the middle-sized bear, but it was too soft for her. And then she sat down in the chair of the little small wee bear, and this chair was neither too hard nor too soft, but just right. So Goldilocks seated herself in it, and there she sat until the bottom of the chair gave way, and down she came, plump, upon the floor. Uh-oh. Now the chair is broken. Then Goldilocks went upstairs to the bedroom in which the three bears slept. first she lay down upon the bed of the great huge bear, but that was too high at the head for her. Next she lay down upon the bed of the middle-sized bear, but that was too high at the foot for her. Then she lay down upon the bed of the little small wee bear, and that was neither too high at the head nor the foot, but just right. So she covered herself up comfortably and fell fast asleep. Look at that bed. It's pretty cool, huh? By the time the three bears thought their porridge would be cool enough to eat, they returned home for breakfast. Now Goldilocks had left the spoon of the great huge bear standing in his porridge. "Somebody has been eating my porridge," said the great huge bear in his great rough, gruff voice. And when the middle-sized bear looked at hers, she saw that the spoon was standing in it too. Ready to say this part with me? "Somebody has been at my porridge," said the middle-sized bear in her middle-sized voice. Then the little small wee bear looked at his bowl, and the spoon was in the porridge bowl, but the porridge was all gone. "Somebody has been eating my porridge and has eaten it all up," said the little small wee bear in his little small wee voice. Upon this, the three bears, seeing that someone had entered their house and eaten up little small wee bear's breakfast, they began to look about. Now Goldilocks had not put the hard cushion straight when she rose from the chair of the great huge bear. Turn this so you can see a little. "Somebody has been sitting in my chair," said the great big gruff voice. And Goldilocks had crumpled the soft cushion of the middle-sized bear. "Somebody has been sitting in my chair," said the middle-sized bear in her middle-sized voice. And you know what Goldilocks had done to the third chair? "Somebody has been sitting in my chair and has sat the bottom right out of it," said the little small wee bear in his little small wee voice. He's so sad. Then the bears thought it necessary that they should make a further search, so they went upstairs to their bedroom. Now Goldilocks had pulled the pillow of the great huge bear out of its place. "Somebody has been lying in my bed," said the great huge bear in his great gruff voice. And Goldilocks had pulled the cover of the middle-sized bear out of its place. "Somebody has been lying in my bed," said the middle-sized bear in her middle-sized voice. You know what's coming next, right? And then the little small wee bear came to look at his bed. There was Goldilocks, sleeping peacefully, her long shiny braids spread across his pillow. Little small wee bear just stared at her for a moment and didn't say anything. But then he cried, "Somebody's been lying in my bed, and there she is!" What do you think is going to happen when Goldilocks wakes up? I think I have an idea. Goldilocks had heard in her sleep the great rough gruff voice of the great huge bear and the middle voice of the middle-sized bear, but it was only as if she had heard someone speaking in a dream. But when she heard the little small wee voice of the little small wee bear, it was so sharp and so shrill and so like her own that it awakened her at once. Look at them all looking at her. Up she started, and when she saw the three bears on one side of the bed, she tumbled herself off the other and ran to the window. Out Goldilocks jumped and ran as fast as she could run, not looking behind her until she was very far away. And what happened to Goldilocks afterward, no one can tell. But the three bears never saw anything more of her. Boys and girls, I wonder, do you think that she ever went back? Do you think she never did? I don't know. You know, we talked about animals acting like people in this story, and we know since the bears are eating porridge and going for a walk and having beds and chairs that animals don't normally act like that. So that's one way that the animals were acting like people. Can you think of some other ways that the animals were acting like people in this book? Maybe you can tell someone. Also, we talked about how there could be a moral or a lesson at the end of the story. And I'm wondering What do you think that message is? I think one important thing is that we need to be careful and think about how your actions might affect other people, right? Think about the things that Goldilocks was doing and how it affected the bears. And also, you need to make sure that you're invited into someone's home before you just come in and take over, like Goldilocks did. Because I don't think you'd be too happy if someone came in and did what she did to your house and your things, right? So again, this is a folk tale by Jan Brett, or retold by Jan Brett, and there's actually another version of Goldilocks that Jan Brett wrote that I'm going to read to you another day, and then we can compare and contrast those two stories and think about how they're the same and how they're different. I hope you enjoyed the story today. I enjoyed reading it to you, and I will be reading to you soon. Goodbye.